Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Mopping Up Milk podcast, the podcast where we clean up after ourselves. My name is May, and who are you?
My name's Tommy.
Who are you, sir?
I'm the roommate, apparently. I'm your boyfriend.
Oh, no way. Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
wow.
Fun facts. No, this is my boyfriend, Tommy, everybody. He's joining me today for the podcast. Another co-host this week, which is very exciting. Oh, okay. Yeah, laugh it up, baby. Tommy is promoting pomegranates, Cole's pomegranates today. Why don't you tell them?
Yeah, I'm actually icing my thumb because I actually burnt my thumb when trying to cook.
So Tommy's icing his thumb. We don't have a sponsor on the podcast yet. Just free promo for Cole's pomegranate. Okay, well, welcome, guys. This is Tommy, my boyfriend, and he is here to talk about being in a relationship. No, an interracial couple.
Wow.
We're going to discuss all things interracial couples, highs, lows,
Whoa.
differences, whatever. Okay, so that's what we're doing this week. But first, I feel like a lot of you, or some of you, may not know Tommy. So, Tommy, can you give us a little elevator pitch, please?
Elevator pitch. Okay. Well, my name's Tommy. I'm a photographer and I work in the social media industry, and I love to play sports, particularly into tennis and running now. That's the flavor of the month.
Yeah, literally.
And what else?
You love me.
I love you so much. And we've been together for...
You love me.
for 2.5 years.
Yes.
And that's me in a nutshell.
That's Tommy in a nutshell. Yeah, we've been together for like 2.5 years. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Took you a while. No worries. Now you guys know.
I was just caught off guard. Caught off guard with the color
Quick
question.
questions, babe. Come on.
All right. I'm ready now. I'm ready for any quick question.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about being in an interracial couple. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Try and say that.
Being in an interracial couple.
Okay, whatever. No worries. Okay, cool. So for those who aren't watching the video version, I'm white. And
I'm Chinese.
there you go. So we're actually an interracial couple.
Wow.
If you're not watching the
we
YouTube
qualify.
yeah, we qualify. Look at us.
Yay. Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Teamwork.
successful.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you mean by white?
Huh?
What do you mean by white?
Caucasian.
Yeah, I know, but like, even though you're Caucasian and white, you'd still have,
Heritage.
you still have like a geography that your family comes from.
Yes, you're right. I am Scottish.
Woo! Scottish.
My mum's side of the family is from Scotland. I think my family migrated in like the late 60s because my mum was born here, but her older siblings were born in Scotland.
Yeah.
So late 60s for me, I think, and then when for you?
I think 80s for my
80s.
family.
Right.
I really wish I knew, but I think it's 80s.
Okay, yeah, I don't know specific dates for me either, but mum's side of the family came from Scotland, and dad's side of the family is Australian with Irish heritage, I guess, like way back. McMahon is a very Irish name. Yeah, so Scottish. Tell me a bit about your heritage, babe.
My parents came to Australia from Hong Kong. My mum was born in Kowloon and my dad was actually born in Vietnam. So they're ethnically Chinese. And yeah, that's kind of like my background.
And your dad has a very interesting story being born in Vietnam because he had to leave Vietnam to get to Hong Kong.
Yes, so there was a war that they were escaping.
Yeah.
So then they migrated to Hong Kong. My dad's side of the family set up shop there and they had a family business. But then again, they had to migrate from Hong Kong to Australia to make just like a life choice for their family. And and then that's when the next generation, aka me and my sister, begin.
And your parents met and got married in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Before they came.
Correct. So I believe they met in in like a TAFE kind of thing, or like a high school. It was like high school or TAFE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, high school sweethearts sort of vibes.
I guess you could say that.
School
Yeah,
sweethearts.
they met in the
The schooling system.
in the schooling system. Yeah, the educational industry, not industry, but yeah, institution.
Okay, good job. That's a bit different to how we met, though. How did we meet, Tommy?
Well, we met on an app called Hinge.
I was going to say, why is it taking me
The
so
app
long?
that's designed to be deleted.
And it got deleted.
And it got deleted.
Woo!
Wow.
Slay, go team.
We swiped on each other. Do you swipe on Hinge? No. You
Oh,
prompt.
I use on Tinder as well, apparently, guys.
Yeah, you prompt.
Dating app fiend over here.
You replied to my prompt.
I replied to you. I made the first move, guys. So
Ooh.
we're
Nice.
the girls.
Progressive
Queen over here, yeah. I think I replied to your prompt, which was like coffee date or drinks date, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
why not both, sort of thing.
Ooh.
I was like, smooth with
Sheesh.
it, you know.
And that's when I knew she
Was an alcoholic and a caffeine addict.
Wow. That's when I knew she wanted to. Well, she was like interested in doing like a longer date.
Oh, I see. I didn't even think about that.
I was like, wow, she wants to try both.
Ooh. And we did have a very long first date, didn't we?
That's true. I to be honest, I wasn't expecting it to be that long.
Really? What were you expecting?
like-
You weren't expecting much from me.
I mean, you don't expect to. I don't think anyone expects to like.
Go on a date for 11 hours.
Yeah, literally during COVID lockdowns.
But it was legal, guys. Like, we did it when the radius was 5 kilometers and you could go outside for the day.
Yeah, literally.
All right, so I want to get into this episode and discuss the nitty-gritty of being in an interracial relationship. We've discussed how our relationship come about and how long we've been dating, but during that time, we've had a lot of adjusting to do. Being in an interracial relationship, this is your first interracial relationship. Your first time dating a Caucasian white girl.
Yep.
So I'd love to dive into your thoughts on this. Maybe I want to start with, I asked you to come prepared to this podcast session with 3 differences or 3 things you've learned since being in an interracial relationship with me. And I've also brought 3. And we're going to exchange and react and hear each other out. So we haven't heard what each other have written down. So it's going to be interesting for us to sort of react to it. But it'll also be interesting for you guys to hear what our takes are on the relationship and the things we've learned since dating each other.
Yep.
Because it is a big change dating someone that isn't like culturally the same as you.
You think so?
I think so. There's a lot of differences and there's a lot of similarities too because we both grew up in Australia.
That's yeah. It wouldn't be the same if like let's say I was from
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Right. It wouldn't be the same if you were born there, but because you grew up in Australia, you have all the what am I trying to say?
The background, the context, the understanding.
The Australian childhood.
Oh
You
yeah.
understand the Australian childhood.
I am I don't know what they call it, but like I think that I have 2 cultures.
Yeah.
Like my identity can be like put into 2 different categories.
Sure.
It's like my Chinese Asian background and then my Australian upbringing.
Okay. I'd love to hear more about it. Tommy, can you please tell me your first dot point you've got there?
The first thing I had was one thing that I found interesting was the importance of sport in your family.
Oh, I was not expecting to hear that.
Oh, really?
Go on.
So I think that sport plays a super significant role in your family's interests,
Right.
compared to other families in general that I know,
Really?
especially Asian families. What surprises me is that your family, even though they wouldn't say that they're like interested in like one particular sport, they're interested in like all sports. They know footy, they know F1,
Yeah.
they know a bit of soccer.
Yeah.
They're up to date with darts.
True.
They know everything that's happening, and that really is really interesting to me.
Okay, that is interesting to hear that. Darts is a very Scottish thing to be into, so that I get. My sisters have recently become hyperfixated on F1, so that is interesting. But I just don't think about it that much, as maybe you would, like my family being really into sports. I kind of just assume that all families are got someone that's interested in sports, but
And I might be generalizing, but I think that it's mainly like white Australian families that are really into like their sports.
well, I think that's because sport plays a big role in our culture. Our cultural identity.
Yeah.
I think that like white Australian culture, we sort of sometimes don't really understand what it is, and I think sport is like one of the massive parts of
It's
our
huge.
culture.
It's huge.
Yeah.
We are such a sporting culture in Australia. Like I swear, every other person's like active as hell.
Yeah.
They played a sport as a kid.
Yeah.
They might continue to play sport as an adult.
Yeah.
And they definitely support like some kind of team.
Yeah.
And they know every player in the team.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
That's true. Like my family really support sporting teams, but also we've also played a lot of sport. Like I used to play
Basketball.
competitive basketball. My sisters were really good at netball and rowing, and my dad used to play nearly played professional AFL. My mum was a basketballer, so yes, they are quite sporty. And that's interesting that that's your difference that you picked up.
That's number one.
That's number one? The biggest difference?
Oh, no. That's just the first one.
Oh, that's just the first. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll tell you one of mine.
Please, yeah.
Okay. Well, the first most obvious one for me is celebrating new traditions. Like cultural traditions. For me personally, the extent of my cultural traditions is Christmas.
Okay.
Like that's like an Easter maybe, because like I come from a Catholic background, but I no longer practice, and my family no longer practices, but we still celebrate the Catholic traditions like Easter and Christmas. But other than that, I don't really have any other traditions that I celebrate. Coming into your family, I've celebrated like Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year, and that has been a massive like difference for me. I've never celebrated it before because I haven't been like put into that, just immersed in that culture before. That's been really fun for me, learning all the things about those traditions and like the colors you wear and the food you eat. There's specific things you do at that time, and it's so interesting to me. And watching the lion dancing, the dragon dancing is so much fun.
Oh yeah.
I've felt that being exposed to the Chinese traditions has been really fun for me.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed it.
Do you have like a moment in time where you can recall that was like particularly fun?
Particularly fun. I think that most recently we celebrated Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year with your cousins, and we went out and watched a dragon dance at NGV, and then we went out for a picnic and just played board games. But it was the quality family time that was really important during celebrating the New Year, and that's just really fun for me. I love family time, and your cousins are legends, so had so much fun.
Nice. I'm sure they're glad to hear that. They love having you like, you know, at our family events.
I hope so. Because
absolutely.
I love being there.
Yeah, your family, babe.
They got to deal with me.
They don't deal with you. They welcome you.
That is so nice. Nah, they're legends. And we all get along so well, which is I'm so grateful for, because family is so important to me. And if I didn't get along with your family, I'd really struggle. So the fact that your family is so welcoming to me is really important.
You know what? I can say the exact same.
Yeah?
Yeah, like if your family, if I found it difficult to be like, you know, accepted into your family, or if I found it to be like, uncomfortable in any way, not just your immediate family, first of all, like your broad family, extended family, then, you know,
it would be really difficult for us.
It'll be difficult.
And that's something to talk about, actually, about being in an interracial relationship, is that sometimes in interracial relationships, certain families might not accept your partner. And that is a really big hurdle for a lot of people. But for us, it was like easy breezy.
Yes.
Like my family absolutely adore Tommy. And
I feel it.
I feel like Tommy's family really accepts me. And that's really nice.
It's really
Makes
reassuring.
things so easy.
Because, like, I don't know, like, you assume the best from your family, but, like, sometimes it's just, you never know. And then I'm really just glad that we're both super accepted into each other's families.
At this point, I feel like my parents love Tommy more than me, so you can tell that they really love him.
That's funny.
All right, what else have you got there?
So my second point, speaking of traditions, I find that it was interesting that Easter, it seems to be a more significant event in family traditions more so than religion. So I know that obviously, like, you had a Catholic practice upbringing, but that's no longer something that your family does. And the tradition of Easter continues mainly because it's family time, and it's family getting together, and like that's really cool. And yeah, like my family have never really celebrated Easter.
But that's because it's not a part of your religion.
Well, yeah, that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, but it's like never been a part of your religion, so you never celebrated it. Whereas it's always been a part of my religion, and like that has been a tradition that just sort of goes beyond religion now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess like I think it's particularly interesting because it's one of those things in the Australia context, not just your family's context, but like in Australia, it's in the calendar. It's in everyone's calendar. Like
it's a public holiday.
Yeah, everyone.
Multiple public holidays is great.
Yeah, everyone like it affects everyone in some way.
Yeah.
And so yeah, my parents never did anything Easter.
Yeah.
Never got me an Easter bunny, which I don't expect them to.
Oh my God, this is another difference that I haven't written down, is that your family haven't really celebrated, as an immediate family, haven't really celebrated Christmas or Easter before. Your extended family, yes, for Christmas, but your immediate family.
Yeah, my immediate family, I would say, yeah, probably not for Christmas. Less for Christmas for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, less to zero.
Zero. And that was shocking to me that you hadn't experienced like a full-on put the Christmas tree up in the 1st of December sort of vibe before.
Oh, yeah, no.
That was a big difference for us. That's one that I forgot to write down.
Do you mean like when it came to like our first like December and you were like, let's get the fucking tree up?
Yeah, and you're like, what tree?
Like what tree? What tree?
Exactly.
Where are we going to put the tree?
Yeah. That's something that I've like, you've adapted to with me, is that it's a new tradition for you, right? And now you'll continue to do it with me.
I guess it's a new tradition in the way that I'm more involved.
Yeah. Like the little things around Christmas.
Yeah. So like for me, Christmas was mainly like my cousins. I guess like being like the more active celebrators, and then like me and some other cousins would just like piggyback off that.
Yeah.
And like it's just a great excuse for a family gathering because everyone's on holiday.
Absolutely.
But yeah, your experiences with Christmas entirely different.
Yeah. That leads me to my next point, actually, is that my 3 top favorite foods I had never eaten before meeting you.
Okay, that's huge. What are they? Can I guess?
You can guess. We talked about this a little bit the other day, but you can definitely guess.
If I had to guess, it would be mapo tofu.
Yes, that's one of them.
And mapo tofu is like a numbing spice minced Sichuan peppercorn stir fry pork with soft tofu.
Yeah.
In like a nice little like hot gravy on rice.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Yeah.
The other one would be like Chinese style chicken and potatoes. No, it's not.
It's not in the top 3, but that is definitely on my list of favorite foods.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That is one of my comfort meals for sure.
Maybe another one then is... Ooh.
Tricky.
Would it be like a Vietnamese food or a Cambodian food?
One of them is Vietnamese.
Yeah. Shaking beef?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A1. So good.
Yeah.
And my other one, do you know what it is or do you want me to tell you?
Nah, tell me.
It's Uyghur spicy chicken
and
potato
noodles. Course. Yes, that is so good.
Yeah. And they're... do they call it... They don't call it pilaf, but it's like that what's it called? It's like their rice with carrot and sultanas.
Yeah, I've seen it called like different things, like
Yeah.
pilaf or polo.
Yeah. So bloody delicious. Uyghur is it's northern China. So they have a lot of Muslim, what would you call it?
Minority influence.
Influence. So they do a lot of skewers, like lamb skewers.
Yeah.
So bloody good.
Everything's halal.
Yeah. It's so delicious. I had never had Uyghur food before meeting you. I'd never had mapo tofu. And I did get into Vietnamese food, but it was really basic. I hadn't explored shaking beef before you. So,
Shaking beef, yeah, it's pretty interesting.
oh, it's so bloody good. I can't. It's so fucking good. Yeah, so that is something really interesting. I love food, but growing up in my family, obviously, well, my mum is an amazing chef, but obviously I'd eat whatever she would give me. And like she hadn't been exposed to these foods before, so I didn't really have them growing up. But dating you, I've been like exposed to like a whole new cuisine. Like I'd had Chinese food before, but it wasn't to this extent and depth. Like Chinese food is not just Chinese takeaway where there's like lemon chicken and fried rice. There is like you were saying to me the other day that there's 8 different main cuisines in China.
Yep.
And they're all so good. I especially love numbing spice, which is Sichuan cuisine.
Yeah.
And then like northern Chinese food.
Yeah.
So, oh my God. I thank you so much for giving me my favorite foods.
My pleasure.
And this is something I kind of preach to people now is that like you might not have even had your favorite food yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Explore.
And I think that is a testament to us for needing to expand our palate. I think we should try things that might scare us a little bit.
Yeah, we've got so far to go still.
Yeah, and I'm really down to try something new like tomorrow.
Sure, let's do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. We've recently got into Afghan food, but that's a whole nother story. That is so good, by the way. Give me your next point.
My next point is... Okay. Your parents have had way more interaction with me than any of my ex's parents have had with me.
Really?
They show me their love in ways that my parents, Asian parents, would typically be shy of. And yeah, your parents just basically show me their appreciation and like their respect towards me in ways that I'm not really used to be honest.
Yeah. Oh my God, it makes me like emotional when I like hear you talk about this sort of stuff because I'm used to a lot of words of affirmation, whereas you haven't experienced that as much. Not to say that your parents don't feel those things. They just show it in different ways.
Yeah.
My parents are very much words of affirmation people. And I hear my dad tell Tommy that he's proud of him all the time and that my dad literally tells Tommy that he loves him. And I find that so special. And that's also something that my dad hasn't done to anyone before. So like, I think that's really special.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely means a lot to me. And coming from a family that's, words of affirmation and physical touch weren't present.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely like, it holds more meaning, I think, to me, which is really interesting.
Nice.
And like, I know my parents like love you as much as like your parents love me.
Right.
My parents, the way that they grew up in like Asian culture, they just show it in like different ways.
Yeah.
And also they're learning the ways that might be more accepted by you.
Yeah, this is also something that we've discussed recently is that it's funny how you had to deal with that growing up, right? Not having the words of affirmation and stuff like that. And now it's roles reversed. Like, I don't really see that from your parents, whereas my parents are like, bombard you with words of affirmation and love.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've had to get used to as well. I'm like, do Tommy's parents even like me? I'm like, I don't know. But like, over time, I'm learning that your mum and dad show it in different ways. Like, and they're also learning to show me in the ways that I like it as well. Like, they hugged me and they hug you now. And like, Your mum gives me a lot of words of affirmation now. Your dad really like encourages me when I'm learning Cantonese, so they like love it when I speak Cantonese, so they really encourage me and like give me words of affirmation now, and that's really nice. I think they just show it in different ways.
If I had to categorize it, they're typically like acts of service or gift giving people.
100%. Your mum gave me a gift when she went to Hong Kong recently, and she didn't even get you one.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
That made me like cry when I got in the car to come home, because I was like, wow, your mum like thought of me.
Oh, she loves you. Trust me, she loves you.
Yeah, I hope so.
And they offered us to give us one of their old rice cookers.
Oh yes, that is such an honor. I want your grandma's rice cooker for sure.
Yeah.
They are gift givers for sure. They do like acts of service a lot for you.
Yeah.
They want to help you out where they can. And another thing to mention as well is that your sister's also in an interracial relationship. So your parents were already exposed to it before we started dating as well.
That's true.
So I feel like they'd already, not that they'd need to learn to accept, but they were already used to it. Yeah.
And they've been in like a much longer relationship as well.
Yeah, they've been together for 8 years this year.
Woo!
Congrats, Judy and Ollie. We love you.
Congrats.
My last point was that for the first time in my life, which is a big privilege for me, is that, like, I understand my privilege in saying this, but this is the first time in my life I've been in a situation where my race was the minority.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, family situations, friend gatherings, I don't think I've ever been the only white person in a room. And I've really loved that.
Okay.
I've really loved being in situations where I can learn about your family and just see your family in their natural state and how they interact with each other. I've really loved getting to know how your family does things. And I think it's a privilege in itself for me, the minority in the room, because like I can experience a new culture, and I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, it's the first time I've been in that situation.
Yeah, wow. To be honest, like not a lot of people even get to experience that. Like some people live their whole lives in a multicultural society, but still be with their culture, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I think there you go. Like you got to try it.
Yeah, and I get to continue to do that. Like at every family gathering, well, it's me and Ollie that both white. So yeah, it's really fun. I love it. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and at the family gatherings, all the food is so good.
I actually got to write down, it's not really like a fourth point, but it's just like a statement. I wrote down that that I find a lot of enjoyment in sharing my broad Asian culture with you.
Yeah.
Not just limited to my Chinese background.
Like as in Hong Kong?
Not just limited to that.
Oh, okay.
So like from the 2.5 years of being together, I've enjoyed sharing the broad Asian
you're
culture
talking all different Asian countries.
Yeah, because I think that's I feel like that's still part of my identity.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it's not not just the Hong Kong Chinese aspect that I've enjoyed sharing with you, but it's the broad Asian experience.
Yeah, your trips to Korea, your trips to Japan, your learnings there. The food that you love is like mainly Asian countries, and you've also exposed me to some bomb ass Korean food and Vietnamese food.
Yeah.
Literally languages, little bits of different languages that.
Yeah, just like small bits of vocab.
Yeah, fun. You do actually, and I love that.
Do you have any other points or
I don't
statements?
have any other points, but one thing that you could say you've been exposed to is my grandparents and their Scottish accent.
Yes.
That's something, isn't it?
Yeah, and even I've never really experienced much of Scottish anything before meeting your family.
Yeah.
And also they've actually like not just hearing their accents and like speaking to them, It kind of got me intrigued into watching a show that your dad was watching one night, which was Still Game.
True, that's my culture.
Yeah,
See, that's something.
yeah, that's Scottish comedy.
Yeah.
And
Great show, by the way. Highly recommend.
And that was such a great watch. Just the not only the humor, sorry, not only the accent and like the culture, but also the humor,
the Scottish humor,
and
it's quite like harsh and crass.
Yeah, and that's great. That's so funny.
Yeah,
I love that.
Still Game is such a good show, and it was such a good way for you to see like maybe where some of my humor comes from as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that's really
your people.
That's the land of my people.
No, it's just Glendale.
I actually have some fun facts for you. Would you like to hear
facts?
them?
Sure.
Okay, so when I was trying to organize this episode, I was like, what can we talk about other than our experience? And I was like, okay, I'm going to research some interracial fun facts.
Oh, this is good.
Okay. Can you guess what percentage of married couples in Australia are interracial?
Okay. What's the year of the study?
Unknown. I think it was recent.
Recent. I want to say...
Definitely recent, actually.
And define interracial. Just different backgrounds.
Different backgrounds. It could be like just anyone that's married to someone that isn't their race. It could be, yeah, literally that.
All right. I would say 25%.
Really? You're going to be mind blown.
Am I?
It's 70%.
Wow.
Yeah. 70% of married couples in Australia are interracial.
That's crazy. Shout out to Australia.
Slay, multicultural.
Wow. Must have been a recent study.
I hope that's right, by the way. I hope that
We're
is
just
right.
making up numbers.
It could be that it's 30%.
Nah, I don't know. That's pretty cool.
Another fun fact. This is an American study,
This is great, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. This one is based on America. It's based on the United States, everybody. I couldn't find one for Australia.
United States.
So among all the newlyweds, interracial pairings were primarily... Can you guess which interracial combination is the highest percentage of marriages in America?
Which combination is interracially the highest?
Yes, interracial couple.
I want to say maybe like black and white.
In America?
Yeah.
Incorrect.
Ooh, what is it?
It's Hispanic white.
Hispanic white.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's at 43.3%. That's nearly half of the interracial couple percentage.
I see.
Yeah. Not closely followed. The second highest percentage is 14.4%.
Wow, so it went from 40 something to 14.
Yes, and that is white Asian.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we're there, baby.
Hey, represent.
Represent. And then 11.9% is white and black. So it's like the lowest.
Well, it's not the lowest.
It is. The lowest percentage.
Nah, because that'd be... You haven't named all the combos, so it would be the
Yeah, but
lowest.
wait, I'm not finished.
Oh.
So then other combinations makes up 30.4%.
Oh, so they just grouped it all
Yeah,
up.
they can't group the other ones because they're a little bit more niche.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so I thought that would be interesting to share with you all, even though it's not Australian, but, you know, it's still interesting.
That is interesting. No, it still is. Because, I mean, like, our culture is, like, can be, I guess, comparable with, like, America's to some degree.
Yeah. I mean, we consume a lot of American content, and, like, I feel like we sort of...
Yeah.
What would you call it? Like...
Yeah. Adopt.
It just flows on and we adopt, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some fun facts I found.
Wow. Thank you for the fun facts.
You're welcome. All right.
Also...
Yes. Tell me, please.
I've never called my parents by their first name.
Whoa. Whoa. That is a big difference.
Yeah. That's just a cultural difference.
Interesting. Even your parents don't want me to call them Pauline and Auntie. They want me to call them Auntie and Uncle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I don't get promoted to mum and dad status until we're married.
Correct.
Right. So I need to call them Sok Sok and Yee.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, right?
yeah.
Oh, I was scared that was grandma for a second, but what's grandma?
Grandma.
Yeah.
Paw.
Paw. Oh, Paw. Yeah. Yee.
Yi.
Guys, I'm really... Pronunciation in Cantonese is very hard.
It is.
I'm trying my very best, and that's why I feel a little anxious calling them auntie and uncle, because I got sok. Oh no, I don't have either of them down.
It's a hard one. It's a tricky.
Really hard.
It's a tricky vowel to get right.
But Pauline and Andy, I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm working on it. Don't disown me. But yes, I call my parents their first name sometimes to be comedic and funny, but usually I just call them mum and dad.
Yeah.
Mama, actually.
Mama.
That's a funny story for another
That's
day.
an inside joke. Yeah.
All right, guys, we've already been talking for a while, and I think that this podcast is going to have to be split into 2 parts because we just can't stop gas bagging, can we, darling?
Gosh. It's like we never talked before.
I know. It's like we've never had a conversation. No, we just can't stop talking. So I'm going to split this podcast into 2. You're going to have a part 1 and a part 2 of the Interracial Couple Diaries.
Woo!
Woohoo! So check back in next week or in the following weeks to see a part 2.
How exciting.
Very exciting. Thank you, Tommy, very much for being here and talking all things interracial couple with me.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been such a fun time talking about how we share each other's cultures and what we've experienced, the good and the different.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be back on.
Oh, okay.
Please have me back on.
Anytime, darling. I mean, you live here, so just you can help me set up the mics.
Oh, yeah.
No, really, thank you. I really appreciate you as always, and I love you. And they can catch you in part 2.
Sounds good. I'll be there.
All right. Bye, guys. Like and subscribe, download,
Bye-bye.
rate 5 stars, all of that jazz. We love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good job, baby.